There we are.
Woo.
Yeah, that sounds a little strange.
Strange.
Yeah.
We broke it.
What the hell?
My bad. I was over there for 3 seconds.
You just had to turn it off. Nah, it's cool. I think I'm just used to hearing it. There we go. I'm used to hearing it like with the noise cancellation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I judge it. But I'll turn myself down just a little more. All right, we are rolling here. Now I'm thirsty. 1 second. Shit.
Oh, you killed your drink. You killed your drink. I didn't realize it.
Yeah. I have to have something. It's so bad. I'm like at let me see here. I have this app. I have apps for everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I am at 16 and a half hours.
Of what?
Of fasting. That means no eating.
Are you doing like intermittent fasting or?
Yeah, I started doing that, and I don't know, like I went through hitting 13 hours because that's like a circadian rhythm thing. It's basically beneficial to the heart. Mm-hmm. And then I started doing it through, I feel like I'm loud, but I can't tell if it's me or if it's my frame of mind, you know what I mean?
I don't know.
Yeah. What was it?
I've never done this before.
Fasting.
Yes.
All right. So like I went to 13 hours, then 16 hours. Then last week I was like, fuck it. I'm doing 22 hours and then just eating in a 2-hour window. And for me, it's been like a exercise of just discipline. Mm-hmm. And trying to get that going. Because for the most part, I'll eat mostly healthy foods. But I don't know. I feel like I'll just eat too many calories, no matter what it is. Mm-hmm. You know, whether it's like lean meats or, you know, good veggies. And I love fruits. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to try fasting out. And I like it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's pretty cool. Is
this like a 2020 New Year's resolution thing?
No, I've actually been doing it for the past 1.5 years.
Oh.
Yeah, I've been in it for a minute.
It.
Yeah, trying to, man. It's tough, but I like it. It's a good, it's like discipline. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I find that if I find one thing that I can be disciplined to do, other things seem to be a little easier because it was the same for like reading. Mm-hmm. Never really read at all, but now I'm like, yeah, I'll read a few pages of something.
I feel like you're speaking my life right now. I'm also doing some interesting discipline. So I love my alcohol. And
okay.
I gave it up for just the month of January because I was like, Riley, you're getting fat. Get your shit under control. So.
Oh, goodness.
So I gave it up. And weirdly, since I've given it up, I've also started watching more TV shows, which has been on my list of things to do for a while. I started reading a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Okay.
I'm like, I see what you're saying about discipline in one area and suddenly your whole life is like organized and you have your shit together.
Well, isn't it crazy? Because I mean, that has to be something where because you focus on this one thing that you thought really wasn't as big of a part of your life as you thought it was, and then seeing all the free time that you have just from either alienating that one thing or just limiting it, it's pretty crazy.
My productivity has gone up so much.
Yeah.
Because especially with drinking, like once you get tipsy, you're not doing anything else for the rest of the night. Like you're just having a good time.
Sure.
And now that I'm not doing that, it's like, okay, well, instead of just being tipsy and silly for the rest of the night, I'm going to write a script. I'm going to watch this show or read this book or whatever it is, you know?
Yeah.
So it's been really helpful.
Let's dive in. Here we go.
Okay.
All right. So how do you want to be introduced? Because I'm Homero. I'm a full-time video director. Mm-hmm. And I work at an ad agency, but I also like to, you know, help others with their projects and then network and you know, I'm a big gamer as well. I'm definitely a nerd. Mm-hmm. They know me, but Riley, model,
yes,
actress, now writer. Mm-hmm. What the fuck?
I know. I like to keep people guessing. Like, oh my God, what can't she do?
I know. Hey man, it's best to multitask, be multi-talented. Especially in what we do now.
That is actually why I decided to dive further into writing. Okay. I went to LA last month and a voice director there that I know who I really respect, he sat down with me and we had this great one-on-one and he was like, hey, honestly, the only reason I made it out here is because I could do multiple things. So even though, you know, you're beautiful, you're talented, and you're a wonderful actress, like you may need to be able to do more than that to survive. And so I was like, all right. I mean, writing has always been something I was very talented at. Before I wanted to be an actor, I wanted to be a writer.
Really? So, okay. So
way back in the day.
Way back in the day. So
Yeah.
does that mean you were pretty, into reading and all that?
Oh my God, I'm such a Harry Potter nerd.
Really?
Like that. Yeah, that's the one thing. If you know anything about me, is I'm an actor and then I'm a Harry Potter nerd. And those are, that's me as a human being. Hi.
There you go. Here she is. Okay, so you say you wanted to be a writer. Did you want to write books, movies, or TV shows, or just write in general?
I have definitely been more catered to novels because that's what I read. So even now, adapting it to screenplays, I can still be very verbose in my descriptions. So I always got to cut back and be like, no, you're not trying to describe everything the character's feeling, then you're taking away from the actor's job, So it's really hard limiting myself in that aspect.
Wait a second. Okay, so you're saying that whenever a script is a little too descriptive, that could be at the detriment of the actor?
It can steal some of the creativity from an actor because as an actor, you always try to honor the words of the writer. And so when they put something in a script, depending on the actor, because some actors will be like, I don't give a fuck. I'm doing what I want. It's my character. Like they cast me because of what I bring to it, which is fair. But then there's also an element of the writer wrote it for a reason, and it's to dictate where the character's going in the script, and you should try to stay to that. And so it's a line that you have to walk.
I see. Okay. And that's what you're dabbling in now. Mm-hmm. So you say you're writing scripts. What kind of scripts are you writing? Are you leaning towards length, genre, anything like that?
Everything I do is more geared toward drama as an actor and a writer. Yeah.
I love it.
I'm just a dramatic person in general, so it's very easy for me to be like...
I know, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, come on, man. How can you not take shit seriously? I'm with you. I love a good drama. But I mean, what if you were to put you watch a lot of movies now, right?
I'm working on it.
I'm
one of those terrible actors who doesn't watch a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's been part of my goals for changing things up lately.
Okay.
So right now I watched Jessica Jones. I'm watching Watchmen. I just started The Magicians yesterday.
Wow.
It's
a full plate.
I'm working on it.
There you go.
I tried The Irishman, but I'm sorry. I really hated it. I couldn't get through it.
I hated it too.
Good. Yeah. Thank God.
It was horrifying. I was really embarrassed. Not that, I don't know. Maybe I was either in a bad mood or I was expecting one thing and got another, But I wanted I love Scorsese whenever he's at his most raw, and whenever you can tell that his stories are just for fun. Mm-hmm. And so The Departed, that's one that I was like, it was a drama for sure, but also, just tense, not too action packed, but just, a lot of tension. Mm-hmm. And then with Wolf of Wall Street, that was just him being like, fuck you, fuck what you think, this is coming out now. And then The Irishman, it's like, I guess he wants to put people to sleep. What's going on?
Yeah, I think I made it like an hour and a half through, and I was like, I literally am only forcing it because I respect the person who recommended it to me, but I was like, no, I don't love you this much, I'm sorry.
Wow. A friend?
Yeah.
Like an actor friend? Mm-hmm. Oh, and they were like, you gotta see this.
Yeah, and I super respect him and his drive and talent, but that movie, I was like, it's not for me.
Well, that's good that you know that, because then I think it's way more fun to watch, maybe not long-winded movies like that, but whenever I like to write or create stories, I like to think of things and trying to dissect things both that inspire the writing or the thought or the idea, and then things that are like it that I don't want it to be like, like get it away from that shit. What makes this so bad? Why do I subjectively unlike this versus to why do I really enjoy this or this or this? Like trying to dive into it can be tricky. I mean, do you feel the same?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And then of course I want to write things that I would want to be in, even if I'm not actually in it, but that's just the stuff that you enjoy the most. And so of course, if you're passionate about what you're creating, then your audience is going to be more interested in it because that passion just bleeds through, whether it's writing, acting, directing, whatever it is.
Absolutely. Okay. So who are you the lead in all your stories? No?
No. The last few shorts that I've written, I got together with some actors, and we all kind of decided that we want some new footage for our reel. And so I've just been churning out scenes, basically.
So small.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it'll be like 5 pages. But yeah, I think I did 2 of them last night, actually.
You
which
filmed
was a lot of fun.
2 of them?
No, just wrote them.
Oh.
Like, this is beginning stages.
I gotcha. Pre-production.
Mm-hmm.
I dig it.
But yeah, I've been writing stuff for other people, which is different in its own way, because when you know the actor who's going to play it, you can kind of write it to their strengths and you hear their voice in your head. Mm-hmm. So that's just a different dynamic of it that I think is interesting when you're writing.
Okay, so you're writing and you can act. Can you man a camera? Do you edit your stuff? Like, where does it stop, Riley?
I mean, it stops when I stop learning.
There you go. That's good. That's really good. So you're wanting to get more on the technical side of it as well?
I wouldn't say that's an area of focus for me. I definitely prefer being in front of the camera with the acting and the modeling. And then the writing is just another creative outlet for me. I'm also an introvert, actually.
Same.
So
I don't see that shit. No way.
I don't see it with you, so don't give me that crap.
I got manga behind you, all right?
So do I. We're
no
nerds.
way.
I only have 1 now, but I used to have a massive collection.
What made you downsize?
Oh God, did I go to college and I was moving?
There you go. Oh, so you're talking like old school, high school. You were into.
Oh, I grew up an anime nerd.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Did that have a hand in helping you want to act?
Yes, actually. Because when I first got into acting, I wanted to be a voiceover actor, and that was because of anime.
Is that right? Mm-hmm. I think I remember you mentioning that when we first met, that you did voiceover.
Yeah, the voice director I met with out in LA, he's a voice anime director. Well, he does more. Tony Oliver, he did like Power Rangers too.
Whoa.
But he works a lot in animation and anime. That's why I know him.
Okay. Do you do any of that now?
When it arises, I haven't found as much opportunity in Atlanta. Like, obviously, with voiceover, you can do it from anywhere in the world, but there are still a lot of major productions that want you to be in that city so that you can go and record on their stuff. So, fingers crossed for LA 2020, and I have, obviously, some connections out there in the voiceover industry, and so I'm going to make that a little more focus.
Wow. Okay, so that's your idea right now is 2020 by the end of the year or mid-year? What are you thinking?
I don't really have a timeline for it yet because I just decided last month that this is like for sure something I want to work towards.
Is that right?
So yeah, it's brand new.
Oh, it's scary. Okay. So what was the big thing that was like, okay, I'm out of here? You know, because you've been in Atlanta for how long working as an actress?
3.5, almost 4 years. Yeah, it's been a minute. I know. Where's the time go?
I know, man. I know. So 4 years. Are there like events or something that happened or stuff that didn't happen?
I had a friend decide to move out there, and that was very jarring because I wasn't expecting it.
You talking about Rebecca?
No, actually.
Because she also moved out there.
She also just moved out there a few months ago.
Yeah.
But then someone else did right after her. And so it has been a lot of people. And one of my roommates has been talking about moving out there as well. So like you were saying earlier, there is just a lot where people are like, you know what, LA 2020. And or I guess 2019 for some people. But it's been an idea in my head. People have been telling me I should move out there for a while, and I've always been like, I don't know.
Now, that's my thing is like, it's not I'm apprehensive, but I don't know, man. I always get a little nervous just because, for one, it's mad expensive. Right? Like that's
been a huge deterrent for me.
The living.
Cost of living, yeah.
It's crazy. And then on top of that, there's like such a big homeless problem. You know what I mean? Like crazy. There are people that I follow on YouTube, you know, that do a lot of the stuff like this. And they'll show like pictures of their outside studio and there's 500 people out there.
That's wild.
I'm like, fuck. What? How is that even? I don't even know. That's like an epidemic. You know what I mean? So, I mean, those two things. And then there's this, isn't it like an old, like, an old kind of story like in the 50s or the 40s where it's like, I'm going to move to LA, Mom. I'm going to be an actor.
And then 3 months later, they come back home.
That or they're waiting tables. I mean, I feel like it's going to be like that no matter where. But I just think that from a romantic sense, that's LA, yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah?
No, I definitely have heard those stories. And the people who I know, most of them, I'll say, who are out there now are doing, waiting tables or bartending or something like that.
Sure. Bartenders make good money.
So do waitresses out there because they make normal minimum wage. They're not making $2.
Shit.
Yeah. So it's
check. That's good to know. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
And then you get tips on top. So it's much more manageable to be a waiter out there. Wow. But of course, cost of living, I don't know how that translates into everything, but
it can't. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, like right now they did a budget. I don't remember where I saw it. Oh shit. It was some hearing thing. I can't remember who it was for, but basically the woman broke down a budget. Mm-hmm. I think it was for Amazon. It was Jeff Bezos or one of the guys that helped cultivate, the way they pay their employees. Mm-hmm. Basically, a representative of that local government told them what their wages would incur if they were to live in that community and if they were to work at Amazon full time. Mm-hmm. And they had nothing. Nothing. And it was for like I think she did her budget on a single mom and then a kid, and she had the budget and she had her whiteboard and she wrote it in front of this guy and she's like, well, what do you suggest your employee to do? Mm-hmm. And
it's ridiculous that here we're getting into politics now.
Let's do it.
That there is not a single community in America that someone can make minimum wage and live in a 2-bedroom apartment. Like that's bare minimum family kind of thing. And so if one person can't do that, then what does the single mom do? Like, how do you... No, that's unacceptable. I'm not having it.
It's wild, man. It's wild. So, I mean, are you into politics at all? Mm-hmm. No way. What are you thinking about everything?
Anyone else? 2020.
Anyone?
No, I'm definitely Team Bernie. I'm very progressive.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Very progressive in my views.
Okay.
Which, it's a weird twist of events. Since I moved to Atlanta, actually, when Trump got elected, that was when I started to care about politics. I never cared before that.
I've heard so many people say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's because it was like the impossible. And then suddenly the world was set on fire. And we were like, oh my God.
Yeah. What's going on? Like a parallel universe, almost. I felt weird.
Oh my God, this explains so much.
Right?
Yeah.
It's nuts. It's nuts. No, I mean, you're not the first person that I heard say that. So you're for Bernie.
Yes.
Bernie all the way.
I was between like Bernie and Warren for a while because they're both very progressive and they have some similar views. But the more I've watched the debates and heard more of their policies, at the end of the day, I feel like Bernie is the one who's more likely to get it done. He's been fighting for the same issues his entire career. He hasn't flopped sides at all. And he has some very well-developed policies to implement change. So,
No, I can dig it. I was with him for 16. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but now I'm with Andrew Yang.
I like him too.
I like him a lot, man. I don't know what the hell's going to happen. Mm-hmm. It's weird because if you look at like from a historical perspective on 2016 and then what those polls were saying on both sides, like they were saying that Trump was not going to be the nominee. And then he wiped the floor with like 32 fucking senators, lifelong politicians, basically go fuck yourselves. I'm the president now, and then those polls were all wrong. And then whenever he went into his election, what did everyone say? Is Hillary's going to win by a landslide? And it was the opposite. So it's
Hillary did win the popular vote, but it wasn't by a landslide.
By like 3 million.
Yeah.
Which is, in the grand scheme of things, not that much.
Yeah.
Not that much. And
I feel like if it had actually been a landslide, she would be the president. So.
Yeah, I mean, from what I understand, that she just didn't campaign in the places she needed to. That's why there were so many flips, because that's all Trump did is just campaign, and then the Democrats at that time relied on the polling and everything. But we'll see. It's going to be very interesting, regardless of what happens. If it's Biden, it's going to be hilarious.
Oh my God.
Because Trump's going to win again.
Please fucking don't be Biden.
It would be funny at least. It would be funny. But then if it's Warren, not that I don't like her, I think there's just so much of her stuff that I'm not really for. Not so much on policy. I think that is a little weak, but just on her personal record, that to me seems problematic, and I think Trump would prefer either Bernie or Warren to be the nominee. Bernie, I think, would win if he was nominated. I think Yang would do fine. I don't think he's going to be the nominee, though. I don't fucking know.
I don't think he will either. But I love how
wish he would.
Colloquial he is when he talks to people. It's so down to earth and like
real.
I feel like I would be his best friend. I'd be like, yo, we could chill.
Yeah, let's get a beer or something, man. Oh, so that you said you wanted to stay away from alcohol. So what was that like a personal thing?
Yeah, it's I think it was the day after Christmas, so this is probably some holiday weight that I had picked up. But I had to like reach into my closet to find the fat jeans and like go up a size. And I was like, no, Riley, no.
We're not going back to those. I mean, it's the holidays, man. We all have that.
Yeah. But it was one of those things where I was like, I know where my calories come from. And I'd been like fighting to lose weight for a little while anyway, just because my weight fluctuates a lot. And so I was like, I know where this is coming from. Let me just kill it for a month. And actually, I may do it for more than a month because it's been having some really good results for me. So
yeah, I did the same thing, not with drinking. I've never really been much of a drinker, but with smoking. So I stopped in the middle of November into Christmas. So like 6 weeks or something, just to clear my head a bit. And it was pretty crazy because you learn. I think we talked about this a little before. It was like, I don't know if you feel the same with alcohol, but with me, I would like wake up and I would smoke, and then I would go like work out or whatever, and then come back, smoke, then go to work, come back, lunch, smoke, and then at night, well, I guess I'll smoke. And it just was like that for a while, and then personal shit starts to go haywire the past few years. And then that doesn't really make anything easier. At least for me, it doesn't. I think some people really find it relaxing. But if I have a lot on my mind...
Are you like a paranoid smoker? If you're in that mental state?
It depends. I think what happens with me is that I get either paranoid internally, never about anything outside. Just like, oh shit, I'm choking or something, man. Or I loved it. I used to love it because I was able to like do stuff. I would smoke and then I would draw, really get a lot of practice in or game. But I don't know, for a few months it was just bad, so I stopped. And then after 6 weeks, I was like, wow, like you were saying with alcohol, so much of this was occupying a lot of headspace. And now that all that's cleared up, I think that's what's helping quite a bit of the other stuff that I really wanted to focus on, man. It was weird.
Yeah. I didn't drink like, morning, noon, and night, but it was enough that it was a distraction. My roommate, though, she smokes morning, noon, and night, like you were saying you did.
Is that right?
And so she and I have had a couple conversations where she's been like, yeah, I know I need to stop or at least smoke less, but like, I love it so much, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But especially since I've dropped the alcohol and I've been like, no, listen, like all these benefits, like it's a really good thing for you to consider at the end of the day. What's more important to you, the weed or your career? Like your goals, what you're striving for? Because this is inhibiting you from achieving those goals.
Oh, is that right? So like, would she get lazy or something? Or is she paranoid? Because I mean, I'm just curious.
She's not a creative smoker as far as I know.
I see.
She spends so much time going out, and she's very extroverted, which is wonderful for her. But then she'll smoke, and then she'll just chat with people all night. She'll go and FaceTime people. And at the end of the day, I'll be like, so what did you do to get closer to your goals? That's like written on the whiteboard on our fridge. And there's not really a whole lot. Like, she watches a lot of TV, so I'll give her that.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm trying to get better at.
That's what's up.
But
no, I mean, yeah. That's tough. Especially when they're your friend. Yeah, I don't know, man. I've known So it's been a strange couple of years.
All right, let's go. I'm ready for it. I'm right there with you.
You sure? Because it's going to get real. Maybe not
I'm
too
excited.
real, but we'll see.
No, don't give me the fake shit.
Oh, God.
Dude, I'm an INFJ. Like, small talk, I'm like, nah, let's go.
Okay. Well, it was weird, man, because I moved in. I had a couple of roommates. And, me, at the time, me and my wife, we were married for about 7 years. We had split. Mm-hmm. And shit went down, and I went to get a couple of roommates. 2 chicks. One I was dating. And the roommate was her friend, right? Oh, shit. No,
I know.
They may watch this, but fuck it. We're getting real. This is my point of view.
No offense intended.
Absolutely
not.
For
anything we say.
No. Except when I want to offend you.
Then we'll middle finger the camera and you'll know.
That's right. No ill will towards any of them. But it's just like moved in with them. And then I got to learn a little bit, quite a bit about myself. Because I was going through my own shit, like my own issues and all this. And then projecting on either in my actions or what I said. And it was just a whole bunch of bull. But at the same time, you get to learn more about people just by observing. Mm-hmm. So I met someone who will remain nameless, but I saw smoke and smoke and smoke and smoke. And even though I was high, I could see this. And because when I smoke, I only take a hit and then I'm good for hours, maybe even the day.
Wow.
I'm super light and I don't want to be out of my fucking mind, all the time. I think maybe once a month I get like that. But for the most part, it's just like one hit it, I'll quit it. And I'll get a buzz going and it'll just help start whatever I'm trying to do. Not at that time then. Then I was just like, oh, I'll just smoke whatever. But I remember seeing this person just smoke and smoke and smoke. Anytime they would come home, complain, smoke. They would leave, complain, smoke. They would complain, smoke. And I'm like, this is me, dude. This is what I do. But instead of being out, speaking out loud of what is bothering me, it's in my head, causing me stress. Mm-hmm. And then I try to smoke it away. I'm like, holy shit, that was a real eye-opening moment. Mm-hmm.
It's a coping mechanism for a lot of people.
Anything could be, but smoking makes it easy because you can't overdose. Mm-hmm. It's fairly affordable,
As much as anything.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that or an alcohol, at least around here, it's around the same, I think. Maybe alcohol's a little more expensive. I don't know.
It depends how you drink it, too. Because, like, if you go and buy a bottle at the liquor store, that's going to go a lot further than going out to a bar. Because, oh, God, I drop money if I go out.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's bad.
That's how I am with food. Horrible.
Yes.
Terrible. And especially with good food. Because I love good food. I love it so much.
What's your favorite kind of food?
Well, lately I've been, get this. So this week, I think I talked about it. Okay, so last week, along with fasting, I'll do like extreme diet stuff, right? So like last week, or the week before last, all ribeyes. Every day I'll fast, eat a banana, eat an orange, my fruit, and then have a nice fat 12-ounce ribeye, I'll pan fry it. Mm-hmm. I'll just tell you my recipe. All right, so we'll do kosher salt, pepper, garlic, sometimes cloved and or like the powdered, and then rosemary and thyme, organic butter right in the pan. Throw the steak in there, rosemary and thyme, and then like over amount of butter, and then as it's cooking, baste it. It's so good. And good for you. I don't give a shit what anyone says. It's good for you. It has to be. It's got to be.
It tastes good. Therefore, it must be good for you, right? Well, that's how that works.
Well, the thing is like, yeah, right. But the studies that I've read on it's linked to heart disease is bullshit. Like a lot of it is either anecdotal or can be thrown out because it was never replicated. And the stuff that comes from like the Drug and Food Administration is based in the 40s. And if you look at that study, it's a bullshit study. It basically said, all right, that study was, I think, a couple thousand people. And it was over the course, I think, 3 years or some shit like that. And they basically said, all right, if you eat red meat, log it, blah, blah, blah. And then after 3 years or after this allotted amount of time, we'll do your blood tests and see if this does either cause inflammation, heart disease, like what links can we correlate with it. But what they didn't do, like a bunch of fucking idiots, was limit their diet by just eating meat. So most of these guys, they'll eat meat, sure, but what else are they eating with it? They're having sugary Cokes. They're having fries. They're having, I don't know, man, like fucking gravy, sugar out the wazoo, rice, gluten, bread, you know, like they'll combine all of those things and they then say, oh, there's a causality to heart disease because, you know, there was meat involved in their diets.
That's not how that works. Yeah.
I don't think so. And with the whole keto craze, I haven't really done it. And if I did, I think I only did it for a couple of weeks because I'll like stop during on the weekends to have whatever it is I want. I'll just eat whatever. And then so like for like during the week it's just meat and veggies. And I've dropped weight. So I don't know. It's hard because who do you believe? That's the tough part.
At the end of the day, I think everyone's body is going to be different. So like test out what works for you and then do that. Screw the studies. Because at the end of the day, it's your body.
Right. Well, what works for you? What do you like?
I am vegetarian, actually.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Have you always been?
No. Technically, I'm actually pescatarian. I lied to you.
Fish, man.
Yes.
So good for you.
Sushi. That's the reason I can't give it up. Like,
oh, my heart.
I know.
It's so good. And fuck it, it's good for you.
I believe it in my soul.
It has to be. There's no reason. I mean, it's all. I love it.
I'm technically pescatarian.
Okay.
I normally eat vegetarian, but I actually love eating vegan whenever I can. So right? I'm all over the spectrum.
Wow. That's interesting. I have a friend that I work with. He has sworn down up and down my living vegan. He started it for 1 month. We did it, and that's my only time I've ever done it. Was I'll eat like vegan meals, but I'll never go on the diet for an extended amount of time, except this one time where it was like June. They have like vegan June here in Buford. It's like it's like a thing, and so I did it then, and there's a badass vegan joint down here too.
Oh my god,
it's unreal. But that was a saving grace, because for me the hardest part about eating vegan was just limiting to just vegetables, it just being vegetables. And the stuff I was reading was like, try to not rely too much on fruit, because even though there's a lot of good fibers and sugars that work in tandem, you can easily go over your your caloric deficit you're trying to do. But that was the tough part for me for doing that. And he has always had gastrointestinal issues, always. And now that he doesn't eat meat, just basically goes vegan, nothing. He has said there's no issues at all, which is pretty surprising. I hear a lot of stories like that for people who go vegan where their health. So I watched the documentary What the Health. Oh no. I know. But it was part of the reason that I actually decided to go vegetarian for the most part. And at the end of the documentary, they were insinuating basically that being vegan had made was it cancer or diabetes or some sort of health issue just vanish for so many different people. So I think there are definitely health benefits to it. I feel healthier when I do it. I think it's a mental thing, but I tend to agree with you, because my talking about cancer and everything, that's always been a thing. Not always, but so my mom passed away, and then I saw how they treated her in the the doctors, would treat her, because they, in my mind, just milked the fuck out of her for 20 years, and then we're like, oh, okay, this is it. So after she passed, I hate it so much. Medicare for all. Hey. But that doesn't fix the problem. Or we're getting too granular. What was I talking about? We're going to talk about this. Your mom. Yes. Okay. Your mom. No, man. Ever since then, I've always been well, because she got sick, I'm going to get sick. And so that would cause all this anxiety and depression and worry. And then, of course, I wouldn't stop eating shit. So I would just gain weight. And then, I don't know, I think now I have heard anecdotal evidence like that, my friend who feels better, no more issues. And then, other people saying the same thing. And if that works for them, dope. That is the best thing we're all eating healthier. That's the best thing, right? On the other side, though, I've heard evidence or people talk about just going on a carnivore diet, which I also tried a whole month.
How was that?
Awesome. I lost the most weight.
What?
Lost about like 35 pounds. 35 pounds by just fasting, what I'm doing now, and just eating meat. And I ate meat, Riley. Fucking bacon, right? Ribeyes, they're fatty cuts of meat. Butter, like I'll go ham, but that's all I ate. Lost 35 pounds. Had my blood tests. Everything came back fine. Before, my thyroid was fine, but it was just being influenced by my liver because it was getting too many fatty foods. Afterwards, after that month, including all that fat with the butter, way back down to normal. Amazing. Amazing. My skin cleared up. It was crazy. My energy level stayed the same. So you would think, well, just eating one meal a day and it being a big fatty meaty dinner, that would influence your energy, right? Nothing. I stayed constant. No coffee, nothing. Bam. Wild.
I don't understand life right now.
It's weird. It's weird. But yeah. That was the beginning of last year, or maybe in the year before. But it was wild.
That's wicked tempting because I miss meat. It's just like the preservatives and stuff that end up in the meat, or, whether it's in the water and then the water gets into the grass and the animals eat the grass. Like somehow there's always pesticides and preservatives and garbage that ends up in our food. And so cutting out meat was my way of trying to minimize that.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. I mean, we all have our own journey for sure. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's a point where you gotta do something. You know what I mean? And with food, I'm with you. Preservatives, the worst thing. They're cancer in your body. And in my opinion, like refined sugars and all this, it's horrible for you. But to me, it's like, a big, nice cut of meat, and the only thing that was processed was it getting cut and then put on the freezer. I mean, come on. Same with vegetables, like I love vegetables now and fruits. It's like you cultivate them, you get them out of a tree or you get them off the ground. And that's the processing, is just cultivation and then bringing it to you. I agree with you on the pesticides, though. That's scary shit. Yeah. But what can you do?
You spend more money on the expensive vegetables and fruit.
And meat. And meat too. Organic, man. I'm with you. If I could, I'll be honest. If I could, I would hunt.
Really?
Abso-fucking-lutely. Because think about it. I would love to live in Montana or some shit where you can get like elk. One elk, that's 6 months food for 3 people. 6 months.
That's wild.
It's insane. And then you can have a little farm. Get the fuck out of town. Get some pigs.
I applaud you. I could not live on a farm.
No?
No.
I mean, I'm not saying I would want to live on a farm. But if I had a choice on, I don't know. I've thought about that kind of shit. Where like, maybe all this technology, I need to get away from it.
No,
at least for
I
a minute.
it.
I love it too. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for technology. I love this. Just talking. But at the same time, it's like, maybe I think that's where a lot of our depression and anxiety come from now. Because we're human. We're animals. What was it, like 1,000 years ago? We would have to fucking run from lions and shit. Or go out hunting just because you wanted to eat. And then every day you would try to survive. But now we're sitting down, having a little podcast, having some fun.
Super
chill, And,
I was going to say, I think it does definitely force you to live in the moment when you're like trying to survive. You mentioned the homeless population in LA, and I had a friend who went out there for a couple months and lived homeless for a month.
Homeless for a month?
Yeah, because he ran out of money. He couldn't afford to get back, and he was stuck.
Holy shit.
I didn't hear from him for a couple weeks because he was literally trying to survive every single day. And so I totally understand why he did it, but it definitely forces you to think about, okay, how am I going to feed myself right now? How am I going to get to this place that I need to go? He survived by going to coffee shops and using their internet to try to find work and things like that so that he could maybe afford a hostel once in a while.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
That's tough. And he was there for acting?
Yeah, he's actually one of the people who moved out there last year, and he went beforehand to kind of feel it out.
Okay.
Fell in love with it, but was on the streets of Hollywood for about a month.
Well, and that was just because he got canned or something, like from the job that he was in.
Oh, he didn't go with a job. Oh no, he went just to visit with no plan. This is a man
after my own heart.
He's wild.
People are like that. Nomadic.
Yes, he called himself a drifter. That was his word.
There you go.
So.
Wow, that's crazy, man. I don't know. That's crazy stuff.
I don't know if I could do it.
Living homeless. Well, I talk about going hunting and shit.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
You're more adventurous than I am.
Well, I don't even know, because I'd like to have an apartment. And honestly, even if I had a farm, it would be like a side gig, right?
I still think my place in the city with the technology that I just go back to.
Yeah, that, or make it so the farm is self-sufficient, and you have everything you could ever want, internet or cameras or all this, because honestly, I think you could do that and live in a nice, spacious place and stay close to the city, because I like the city life. Living out here in Buford, not that it's bad. It's just, to me, another hometown now, where I grew up. Do you have a place like that, or did you always live in a city?
I always lived in a city. Yeah, Orlando's home for me. So.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Talk about a city. I just came back from there.
I'm going next week, and I'm going to Miami next week, but then Orlando, and I'm so excited.
I would say I would want to have a place down there, man. It was so nice. I haven't been there for years, and it was just like, holy crap.
What brought you there?
It was work.
Oh, okay.
I had to go film some commercial. It was like tires.
It's a big commercial market there.
Right. So that's what I was doing there for about 3 days. And it was so nice, man. The weather. I loved it. People say they don't like it. I'm like, fuck you. It's nice.
It's the tourists.
The tourists?
Yeah.
Do you have like a bad tourist story?
It's not a single story. It's more the atmosphere of it. And especially, I worked at Universal for several years too. And so, of course, you get all the tourists when you work in theme parks.
Holy shit.
They had the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So, of course.
They
got me.
Oh my God. You are a nerd.
Oh, yeah.
That's so awesome.
I'll send you a photo of my room when I get back.
Please.
It's bad.
I'm right there with you. So you grew up in Orlando. You worked in Universal. And you came here right after? After college or something?
Well, I was 25, 26 when I moved to Atlanta.
Okay.
So, oh God, I'm aging myself now.
I'm trying to do some math.
I know. Stop it. Stop it right now.
You're 80. Nah, man, I'm about to hit 30 myself.
No, I don't really. I think I look my age, kind of. I used to get that I looked a little younger.
Fuck it. You look great.
No. I don't give a shit about that. But as an actor, I want to know what I can play. So
you can play anything, man.
Well, age-wise, no one's going to cast me as a 14-year-old.
I mean, they could if it was funny.
All right, I guess.
Talk about anime. Have you not seen JoJo? That's kind of like the fun of it.
I haven't seen JoJo.
Oh, my word. I mean, I only watched it, the past 6 months. But that's part of the charm. That's part of the charm is like, it's this, mythical story about the 1700s of these two brothers brought together by fate, right? And they look like the buffest 30-year-old men, but they're like 12.
Of course they are.
I love it.
Of course they are.
Yeah. But you were saying so you want to write. Or you are writing.
Yeah.
And you're writing scenes. So my question is, and I want you to answer for all the actors out there. All of them.
Oh, God.
Yeah, why isn't the push to be more on creating your own content? You know what I mean? I feel the focus is, if I could just be in this movie, if I could just be on that show, or if I can get in front of these people. In my mind, I'm like, well, why don't you just create your own stuff? You know?
Okay.
I'm just curious.
No, I got 2 answers for you.
Please.
The first one, I'm really sorry, guys, is laziness.
Oh, damn. Laying up some truth.
Yeah.
Okay.
We want people to give us the jobs. If we create the content, that's more work. We have to become multi-talented.
I see.
The second one is for some people, this isn't all actors, but some people are in it for the fame and the notoriety. And so creating your own content, like maybe you'll go viral if you're really lucky. But for the most part, you're going to create it and no one's ever going to see it. So who cares?
So it's the outlook then. That's one of the things.
As opposed to.
So you're saying, I see. So you're saying because they want the fame and the notoriety and they create something and it doesn't get the intention that they want it to, it inherently goes to what's the point?
Mm-hmm. For some people. Yeah.
For some people.
Some people are more focused on like the craft. And so they want to keep working. Yeah. And so they do it for fun, more or less.
Got you.
And so in that case, they're fine. But then there still can be an element of the laziness where it's like, well, I don't want to create the content. I don't want to develop the skill to write it or direct or produce or whatever it is. I'd much rather someone hand me a role and cast me.
I gotcha. So what camp do you lay in?
I definitely have been in the lazy role up until recently.
We all have.
Yeah. I love being lazy. It's awful.
I'm with you. I enjoy it. I miss it. Mm-hmm. I do.
Yeah. But we got to hustle to make it. And that's why I'm moving into writing and doing more of that. That's
dope. I love that. Mm-hmm. Ambitious.
Very much so. I'm wicked driven.
Okay. So what are your goals? Your final. Okay. You are on right now today.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Today's the day your goals are met. What does the world look like?
I want to be able to pay my bills doing nothing but acting and writing at the end of the day.
That is not asking for too much.
I feel like it's not, but it's really hard to do. It's really hard.
Yes, I'm with you. It's funny because I'm wanting to get acting now in myself, and I'm doing some research on it. I'm gonna take a few classes, and I've already written and been in a few things, but yeah, I can understand that one because for me, to get real, it would be dope if. At least for now, I move it so I'm not in a 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 fucking job. Sucking the life out of you.
I feel you. I did it. I hated it.
It's the worst. It's the fucking worst. And it's an ideological issue, to be honest, I think.
How so?
Well, I mean, employers now, they're incentivized to, give you salary. Which is way below what you're worth anyway, regardless of what position you're in, like on top of that, the monetary value going down for, some substantial safe income. They ask you to get up in the morning, go into work early at 9 to 6 with 1 hour. Let me tell you what that cultivates. And you can tell me whether I'm wrong or not. But I feel like it's unhealthy. No one should do that. Ever. I wouldn't ever. Like, because you have 1 or 2 hours in the morning tops. Unless you get up like me where you go to sleep early and you maybe have 4. Mm-hmm. And then after work you have what? Another 4? Fuck that mess, man. What are you going to do? Mm-hmm. What can you do with that time? I ask.
I mean, you can do a lot. I wrote 2 scripts in 4 hours last night, to be fair.
Yeah.
But
every day, though?
No, you definitely wouldn't.
With a job
not
like
every
that?
Day.
Like, with a job like that, on top of that.
And that's part of the creative struggle is, like, having to work these other side jobs, but they're full-time, as well as your career, which has to be full-time. And so how do you devote enough energy to both of them to pay your bills and to pursue your goals? It's a constant struggle, I feel like. And for people who aren't creatives, I'm sure it's fine, They like that routine. And
that's the other thing, too. Some people love that shit. I'm like, why? What? Well, I guess you're right. Maybe it's like a creative thing. Yeah.
That's my theory right now.
Yeah.
Don't take it as fact, but...
Oh, it's fact.
I said it. It's done.
It's changed. That's where it is. So is that what you do now? Do you have a full-time gig?
No.
Okay.
I've been doing brand ambassador work, which is also freelance.
Okay. What does that mean?
Promotions. So it can be a whole lot of things. It can be going to a convention and being the pretty girl at the booth to draw people in. It can be when you're out at a bar and people are handing out free shots, like, here, try Fireball, because you've never had that before.
What the Fireball?
But yeah, if people are out handing out free samples at festivals or in bars or trade shows, conventions, street team, I've handed out Tums several times. So it's like all kinds of things.
Wow. Okay. So you're basically on site, you're there, and you are promoting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And it pays much better than my office job did too, so it's great.
And you're kind of in the same wheelhouse, I imagine, because you are what you're doing. You know what I mean? Because you're saying it's like almost like a modeling or acting kind of gig.
Oh yeah, I act every day for sure.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, I want to be here and tell you about this product.
Yeah, especially that you're an introvert, man.
Oh my God.
I'm the same way. Like, honestly, I would prefer just to stay in, watch some stuff, do a lot of writing, I love gaming so much. But lately I haven't been able to sit down and enjoy it.
Why?
I don't know. Do you ever feel like that, where you're doing something that you really, really, really love to do just because it's fun and you really enjoy it, but you feel like you should be doing something more productive?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, maybe I should be studying or drawing or researching or something.
I feel that way actually about watching TV, which is why I've been so bad about doing it up till now.
Yeah.
Is because I'm sitting here watching Netflix, but I could be at the gym. I could be submitting for auditions. I could be recording those auditions or updating my materials or, any number of things on my infinite to-do list. And even though it's super fun and I love watching TV, I think it's great, but it's like, really, is this the most productive use of your time? And so I've had to retrain my brain actually to teach myself, like, no, this is productive because you need to be informed on these shows that are filming in Atlanta or that you could be cast in, or learning from these actors.
Absolutely, you need to. Absolutely. It's
a mental shift.
If you're gonna be an actor, you gotta know what's going on, because I'm calling you out.
Do it,
Adele.
Oh
God!
I thought you were calling me out, but here we go.
No. I love Adele. But there's just a few things that I'm so surprised she hasn't seen, and I wouldn't say heated. I think they're cute debates. I think you can say.
That sounds a little condescending.
Cute? No, I was being no,
They're
for
actually
real.
Cute?
I think.
Okay.
I think because we were talking about something last year. We were out filming in Tennessee for like a reality show, and we were talking about, I think, Aladdin, and I was like, the movie sucked, and she was like, the movie's pretty good, and I gave my thoughts against it or whatever, or what I thought I didn't like about it, and it ended up going on the topic of women representation in film, and she felt that women don't get more than a heavy lean on the sexual side when it comes to representation, and
oftentimes.
I agree. I agree, but I feel like it's the same with men. Come on. I mean, who is the highest paid actor right now? It's not fucking Rock, man. What are the 3 biggest movies that came out last year? One being, I think, an anomaly, Joker, $1 billion. The other one was Avengers.
Of course, the superhero movies. Yeah,
well,
all the rage.
Well, even that, like, if you were to take out, all superhero movies, what was the next? Like Jumanji,
Well, that's The Rock again.
And then he was also in Fast and Furious. So anything with The Rock is going to be an example. But I feel like, I don't know. That would be an interesting study. Is like, what do you think?
This is the hill I will die on.
Let's hear it.
I agree that there's an element to it for men. I think it is far less than for women. Diversity in film needs to include more than just race. And body type is a huge issue that I'm going to do something for this year, whether it's writing a script or an essay or something.
Ooh, can we write it together?
Yes.
Because I wanted to do something similar.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Ooh. Like, film does not have the proper amount of diversity for body types. For women, of course, that's where my focus has been. Mm-hmm. The average American woman right now is 170.6 pounds.
Fuck.
That's the average American woman. What actress do you know that you would guess is that?
Okay. So, hold on. Hold on.
Okay. Holding.
Hold on. Because now we're getting into a different realm of discussion. I think. Mm-hmm. How much was the average woman's weight again?
170.6.
What do you think about that? Just from an ethical standpoint. I didn't know that.
Oh.
I have thoughts about this.
That weight in Americans is probably higher than it should be. Obesity in America is a problem. The food that we eat is trash.
Okay. So, we agree.
Yeah.
Okay. So, then we should have people like that in movies?
Yes.
To represent those people that are living an unhealthy lifestyle?
Yes. Because that is the audience that you're trying to sell to. From a business standpoint, it's stupid not to. And we're mentally and emotionally affecting people in negative ways by not having it.
That's an interesting concept. I'm sorry.
No, like, we've had such a rise in, and it's slow and it still needs to be pushed more.
Sure.
But more female lead roles. Strong
I'm all
female
about
characters.
Dude, everything I've written always has females in the lead.
Yes.
Always. Everything.
All
of my short films, any story, I've always wanted to do that because my favorite writer-director does that. And I think those stories are the most damn compelling stories.
Who's your favorite writer-director?
Well, honestly, it's not just one, it's several. But Contact with Jodie Foster, Silence on the Lambs, again, Jodie Foster, Sarah Hamilton and Terminator 1 and 2, Sigourney Weaver in all of the Aliens movies. Like, whoa, and Kill Bill, Uma Thurman. I mean, shit. Like, they're all really tough, really badass. And when it comes to a character perspective, the depth is just, my mind, unrivaled from a man. I can't even think of one that comes close. No way. So, like, in my mind, to not cite those as good examples of not only great writing, great storytelling, but a badass actor, woman, is kind of criminal, man.
No, it's definitely been on the rise, which is amazing. And more ethnic diversity, like having Blacks and Asians, and have everyone have their chance at leading roles, not just, the token side character.
That's funny you mention that, because what's his name? Christopher Nolan, his new film, that lead is a black man. Yeah. And he really hasn't done that, Christopher Nolan. Most of all of his leads have been white dudes. So that's important, you think, yeah?
No, I think diversity in all areas, bringing us back to the weight thing. Like, that's the one thing that I feel like is least represented. As a woman, you're either thin and sexy or obese and funny. Those are like the only real options for women. You'll find rare exceptions.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. Like, for me, the average woman, 170, I can't get over that because I can't.
I think it's 29.6, the BMI, which is probably a better representation if you're familiar with BMI. But.
Yes. But for women, it's already, I mean, like, from a biological standpoint, it's supposed to be higher anyway. You know what I mean? Because of the
boobs.
Boobs and the hips, like, biology is a beautiful thing. I'm not here to go against it. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm all about representation from anything, gender, weight, race, all of that. But for me, it's weird because
you don't want to glorify a negative or unhealthy lifestyle.
It depends on the story, because I don't think that's the thing too, is like, if you write a good story and, someone comes in and they look different, but they nail the part, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
That's how it should be.
That's how I like to think of it, but
that's not how the Hollywood execs do, though.
That's a shame.
It is.
Because, I mean, like, all of that sells. That's why Tyler Perry is so fucking rich, man.
Well, Tyler Perry.
You have thoughts?
I mean, he does like the only modern soap operas now, basically.
That's right.
So I feel like he's got a niche for that. And because it is so African-American oriented and they are underrepresented, Tyler Perry's like cornered that market.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that has a lot to do with why he's doing. Also, he's just hustler. Like he does everything.
He works, dude. Mm-hmm. He works. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Okay. I'm all about it. You turn me around. I'm in it. Well, for me, it's always been about the skill. Because I could give a shit less what you look like, who you fuck, or anything like that. I don't give a shit. But just bring the game, you know? Just bring it.
Yes, but it's... So I have a friend who moved out to Hollywood, and she's stunning. Yeah. Like, fit. I aspire for her fitness goals. And she just went into an audition a couple months ago, and the exec still told her she needs to lose 20 pounds to be successful in Hollywood. Like, she's easy 10 or 15 pounds thinner than I am. Like, and for her to lose 20 more would just be ridiculously unhealthy.
That doesn't sound healthy, yeah.
It wouldn't be. But that's still what people in Hollywood think, is you have to be this certain caricature of a woman, at least. And for men, it is there too, with people like The Rock, where it's like, you got to be super buff. But I feel like there's more flexibility with men.
I don't know, man. I really don't know. I don't know. I feel like this is dangerous. This is real dangerous, guys. This is very dangerous territory.
I like real talk, though. You're like, God, why'd I invite you here?
I love it. Thank you for coming. No, I mean, like, I don't know. I feel growing up, I think it's the same way with the skill, you know? Like, if it's a good story, I'm a big fan of really, really, really good writing, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, stellar. Oh, mwah, good. But, and that can be, like, you could have any story be good. In my mind, I think any idea, if you put the thought, if you put the mind of taking care of the story for the story's sake, anything could work. Like, I use for this body image thing, like Back to the Future. Those dudes are normal looking dudes, you know? Michael J. Fox, he's not a buff dude. He's a normal looking dude for the time. Mm-hmm. But now a normal looking dude, I would hate to hear that way.
And that's a societal thing too. One of the things that happened in the last few years I'm really happy about is people calling out magazines for how much Photoshop they do to people. Yeah. And it's like, even the real person that photo is taken of, they can't compare to the images that are coming out in these magazines. And so we need to be more realistic with people, because part of the reason that these stereotypes of really buff men and really thin and sexy women are becoming the norm is because we no longer see reality unless we actually look at the people around us. But we don't do that. We're on our phones all the time looking at the magazines.
Yeah.
On our phones looking at the magazines. Digital magazines. You know what I mean.
You know what's going on.
You know what I'm talking about. Stuff.
No, I actually agree with you there. Like, I've made it a point and a habit to try and stop using my phone half as much. But it's tough. Because, like, I like communicating with people, even though I flub my words.
Same. It's fine.
Right? But it's tough because a lot of people are busy. Honestly, I don't really have a chance to talk with a lot of people I want to, because either I'm having to do something, they're having to do something. And I like the technology for it to be able to keep tabs. But at the same time, to your point, you can't really, you can't beat this in my mind. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you can read a lot with people when you're face to face. But online, it's a whole nother thing. And I think it changes what you're attracted to. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weird.
You could totally be attracted to someone's energy. In fact, I am not normally attracted to people unless their energy is there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you vibing? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm totally demisexual. So if we...
Demisexual? What does that mean?
I have to have an emotional connection with someone in order to be attracted.
I'm that thing then. Because I can't do it otherwise. Mm-hmm. I can't. It just doesn't interest me. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that's what it was called.
Yeah. Like, you can appreciate someone who's physically attractive, but it's like, I don't really want to bang you though. Like,
isn't that weird?
Know. Tell me what you're passionate about, and then maybe like.
Is that really what it is? Demisexual?
Yeah.
So demisexual means that you have not only a physical but an emotional attachment.
Yes, the physical's optional, honestly. And
is that right?
I feel like this honestly I think is more normal that people become more or less attractive depending on their personality. I feel like that's a normal thing for everyone.
Maybe. I think you're right. I think you're right. But I do believe that some people will put up for shit just because of the way someone looks.
I won't.
I'll
be like, bye, boy.
Dude, that just happened to me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Bitch ghosted me, right? I'm not supposed to say bitch, but bitch ghosted me, though. You're not really... You know what I mean? Okay, I'm a little upset. But get ghosted, no reason, blah, blah, blah. But, you know... I was like, what am I doing, man? What am I doing? You know, because you realize that connection isn't there. You know what I mean? I think that definitely takes some growing up to do. Dudes, on the most part. I was just talking about this the other day. It's like when a woman makes up her mind, it's over. It's done. That's it. But in my mind, because I'm a dude, dudes flip-flop all the time. Don't lie. You're a bunch of liars. I know I'm a dude. I can, yeah, okay. But do you think I'm right? I don't know.
I can only speak to myself.
Yeah?
I flip-flop like a motherfucker.
Do you really?
Yeah, I'm terrible.
Like how do you mean? Like relationship-wise? Like, oh, I like him. Nah, I don't like him. Nah, he's all right.
I have a problem where I'm wicked emotional, right? Like that's how I live my life. I'm driven by that.
Same.
And that is what makes me flip-floppy, because sometimes I'll make decisions based on logic that I don't emotionally support. So I've broken up with someone I was in love with. And so I made the logical choice to break up with them, but emotionally I wasn't ready to break up with them. So I did almost like a flip-floppy thing where I really wanted it to work and still to get back together with them. And I was still trying to somehow magically work it out, even though I knew it wasn't going to work out. That's why I broke up with them. So I'm sure it seemed very flip-floppy to them, but it's just because trying to battle the different things that you have.
Emotions, man.
Yeah.
Life. It's just complicated. It is. It is. I mean, I'm sorry to hear that. That's wild.
Oh, that was a while ago. It's fine.
Yeah. It's heavy though, man. It's heavy because, I mean, same thing with me. Like, I went through some crazy shit. Yeah, I think it's a good time to bring it up. All right. So basically, I really loved, or I felt that I did, two different people for two totally different reasons. And that was it. You know what I mean? And was upfront, honest about that. And, you know, things obviously didn't work out. But like, oh man, like sometimes you just can't control how you feel about certain things. But at the same time, you know, people feel their stuff too. And it's weird. It's weird. The whole thing. And now it's just a whole complicated mess, man. It is.
So two people at the same time, you're in love with both of them.
Oh, absolutely. And we all hung out. We traveled. You know, we went to Gatlinburg. Yeah, we had a blast. Everything was good. I thought, you know. But I think like there was some dishonesty. Me probably dishonest with myself about a couple of things. Them dishonest with themselves and me, and it was just a whole mess. And honestly, I'm not here to go for or against that kind of relationship, because I think people that do that either
polyamory or what.
I wouldn't know if that was, because polyamory that's you just having an open relationship. Is that right? Because for me, I was like, I'm good. You know what I mean?
Where you have multiple partners, and however you dictate the terms of that is between you and your partners, but it does require a lot of open communication and honesty.
Yeah, that was the issue. Not from my standpoint, but it's like that was the problem. I just figured it out. No, I knew. It's like I became, or I felt, or I was told that, you know, I was just like this thing, you know, that just, we were talking about space and headspace and everything. I just occupied too much space, you know, and I think that's what. And then in my mind, that occupied way too much space, and that was just unhealthy. You know what I mean?
I'm the same. I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Relationships always take priority for me.
Same. What is that about?
It's trouble is what it is. So whenever there's someone in my life that I'm like really seriously interested in, day and night, I think about them more than I think about me. I swear to God.
Dude, same. Oh, that's wild, man. Because like that's how I am. It's like I meet someone new. That's one thing. You start vibing with someone. That's another thing. And then things get a little nice and intimate. I'm like, oh shit.
Yep.
Right?
That's why I won't sleep with people. Like I don't sleep around because I know for me emotionally, that's it. I'm done. I'm screwed.
No. I mean, that's one thing I learned about myself too. Is like I know dudes that do, and I mean, if that's what they want to do, whatever. I don't condone it because I think emotionally you're a mess. You have to be. You have to be, because for me, I get invested, like that sex, that whole thing. That to me is it's gonna be good. It's gonna be great. Let's get there. You know what I mean? And to me, that's the fun part. Getting there. You know, like I think with dudes, it's like a big thing. It's like, no, and for me, it's like court. That's the fun part.
You like the emotional connection. You're demisexual.
I'm demisexual.
So, hey.
Son of a bitch. That's so interesting. I didn't know that's what it was. So you're the same way. Is that right?
Yeah. It took me a little while to accept it. I'd heard the term for a while and I was like, oh, that kind of sounds like it could be me. And then I had someone who I was talking to who identified as demisexual. And she was like, I think you might be demisexual. And I was like, maybe. I don't know.
I am.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the more I thought about it, I was just like, yeah, that actually explains my life.
Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
Okay.
Conversation. I feel the same. Because I feel the same. It almost like it doesn't rule everything, but to your point, the way you put it was so beautiful. It takes priority. You know, not the other stuff goes away, because I still do my own thing, but I think about that person. Is that bad?
I think for me personally, I take it too far. And so it becomes very detrimental to me.
Is that right?
I know personally, I am always, I think, which probably just means I haven't been with the right person, I am my best self when I'm by myself. I get the most done. I'm the most productive. I achieve more goals. Because I do spend so much of my energy considering the other person, which in my highly biased opinion makes me a wonderful significant other. I'm just throwing that out there. But
I mean, you gotta be honest.
But yeah, as far as like the other things I'm trying to achieve in my life, like I don't get nearly as much accomplished when I'm with somebody else. So it just depends if it's like the one, or not to say that there's one, because I think you can be happy with multiple people, and like people may be there for you at different points in your life, and that's what you need. So there may not be one person for your entire life, and I think that that's okay.
That's fair.
But if it's not like one of those people that you're really meant to have something last with, then it's just a distraction, and you may as well be focusing on yourself and the things that you actually want, because they're still going to be there when that person's gone.
Sure.
So.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of what I'm in now, man. In a limbo. You know, where I'm like, you want to be in my life? All right, this is me. Self-care. That's it. You're here or you're not. And I think that's a little selfish, but I think you have to be a little selfish.
Self-care can be a little selfish, but it's the right kind.
You need it. You need it. Yeah, I'm with you. How can you love someone or even just care about someone, you know, to the best of your ability if you don't even know who you are?
You definitely have to know what you want and what you need, and then what the other person needs as well. Was something interesting that I heard. I can't remember where anymore. Actually, it might have been in the book that I'm reading.
Oh shit!
I know.
Full circle.
But that you have to also consider what the other person wants and needs, and are you a good fit for them? Not just are they a good fit for you.
Yeah.
In order to make a really healthy relationship work.
Yeah. So what's your ideal, if you don't mind me asking? Mine changes every day.
No, mine is always
it's evolving.
It's always the asshole. No.
I love just the douchiest.
Literally, it's a special skill that I can find the biggest piece of shit in the room and say, that one, that's the one I want to date.
You.
Putting it on my resume.
Oh my God.
No,
I feel like we all feel that way.
Yeah.
We all feel that way.
That's true.
Yeah.
My friend has started correcting me. She's like, no, you don't like assholes. You're attracted to confidence. And I'm honestly very attracted to authenticity, and assholes tend to be very authentic and that they are dicks. And so that is just
at least they're honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dig that. That's fair.
But no, I like intelligence. I like people who can push me to be better, a better version of myself, and teach me things. I love people who are just on the other side, where they're still creative and they can meet me there, but someone who's much more logical and grounded, because I'm over here like, la, 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 feelings.
Feelings. Nah, okay, I'm with you. I can agree with all that, man. I mean, it's weird. It's very strange, because even now I'm still learning new stuff about myself. Like I didn't realize being ghosted would bother me so much, and I'm like, I don't like that one bit. So that was surprising. That was really surprising. But then I try to figure out why. Why does it bother me? So why, someone doesn't want to give you the time of day. Why even bother? Why worry about it so much? But I think with me, it was more about like, well, I want to know just so I don't do the same stupid shit again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the why is honestly the most important part, because if you figure out why, then you can address the why, so that if it does happen again, maybe you won't give a shit. Like, oh, okay, she didn't like me, obviously, bye.
Yeah. And it'd be good to know whether it was just you in general or something that was just a mistake, a misunderstanding. I feel like maybe so much of that could be that. But I think with me, it was a lot like what you're saying, is just me being just me, which is a shame.
Well, definitely don't read too much into it. Like, there was a guy who I went on a couple dates with last year, and like, nothing wrong with him. He was great. And I think he's still probably waiting for me to reach out again, but I'm not going to. Yeah. Not because there's anything wrong with him, but because of, like I was saying, I'm my best self when I'm by myself.
Sure.
I found my grind right now, and I'm not going to let a person come in and fuck that up.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, man. I think that's completely fair. And I'm with you. Yeah, because you get a groove. Like, my groove is what we're doing now. Yeah. I'm loving it. just working. And then knocking them out. Like, I'm doing this ahead of time, because I'd love to make it so yours comes out this Saturday, but we're actually a couple of Saturdays ahead.
Hey.
I know, right? And I'm already setting them up for next month, and things are happening. I'm like, ooh,
look at you.
People are watching, right? I think we just passed almost 1,100 minutes. So
wow. You talk a lot.
I talk too much. But
you're that introvert that no one believes is an introvert.
You think so?
You might be an ambivert.
I'm learning.
In the middle. I'm technically an ambivert too. But I lean much further toward introversion. And so I also prefer it just because then people expect a lot less out of you. If you tell them that you're an introvert, then they, like, if you're like, bye guys, I gotta go, too many people. They're just like, oh yeah, she's an introvert. But if you tell them that you're an ambivert and you can do both, then they're like, no, stay at the party longer.
You go to a lot of parties, I imagine, yeah?
No, but one of my roommates has started like hosting a lot of events at our house.
That's the worst.
She only moved in with me a few months ago, and I've told her that I'm an introvert since I met her. And she told me the other day, she was like, I didn't see it. I didn't believe you. But now that I live with you, like, you don't come to half the things I host. And you're in the same house.
We live together.
Aww. I was like, yep, now you understand.
Oh, that's cute, though. I mean, come on. No, I'm the same way, though. I'm the same way. Like, because I get weird moods where I'm like, I need to be around people. Especially
that
lately.
Connection.
Isn't that weird? I never found... Really?
No.
I find it so strange.
Maybe it's because I'm like that, too. I'm like,
yeah?
No, that's not weird.
Yeah? Well, thank God. Thank the Lord.
We'll be weird together, then. That's fine.
I'm all about it. Because, I mean, for the longest time, college. So, had a lot of friends in high school. Got ghosted, And then I just then focused on myself. Ended up... then going to college and just working, like audio, video, writing, just again, rinse and repeat. And then fast forward to now I'm like, I know so many people, but I don't know them. You know what I mean? Isn't that strange?
A lot of acquaintances, but not quite good friends.
Maybe. Like, what is a friend in your mind? Yeah. You see them every day? You hear from them?
Oh, no. We're adults.
Okay. Because if that's the case, then I may have a few friends.
I mean, I think there's different levels and different people that you feel comfortable with in some areas and not others. I definitely have a lot of like acting friends. So it's like, you know what, any kind of creative endeavor, like I'll hit them up and we'll do each other favors and, you know, do auditions for each other or whatever the case may be. But they're not necessarily the same people that I would tell my deep, dark secrets to.
Yeah. Okay.
So it just depends on the person and the relationship, I think.
Yeah. No, yeah. And a lot of like instinct, I feel, you know? Yeah.
That energy that you get with people in person.
I know, right?
Going back around again.
Oh, so good.
I have a friend who moved out to LA, and he and I, when we talk online, we fight all the fucking time. Constantly.
You fight?
I want to slit his throat every day.
Why?
We just can't communicate for shit.
Oh, okay.
But if I see him in person, like, we'll laugh about this stuff. Like, something about that energy exchange in person.
Sure.
Maybe because you can elaborate more or read the body language.
Yeah.
But, like, we get on fine in person. Even if we have the same disagreement in person, it's not like, I'm going to kill you in your sleep. But online, nope.
It's not there. Wow. That is unique. I love that.
I don't have this relationship with anyone else for sure.
Yeah. That's awesome. Oh, man. Wow. I don't think I've ever known. Well, I have had a couple of rivals. You ever have rivals? Like
an arch nemesis?
Yeah. You ever had one? I used to have them. Not so much anymore.
I feel like I'm missing out, honestly.
Really? You are. It's amazing. Because, I mean, it's almost like someone to push you and they don't have to be there, you know. But they do something just to nudge you enough. You know what I mean? Because I used to have a guy who's coming next Saturday. Stay tuned for that. He's a big politics guy now. But when we were growing up, I've been playing guitar since I was like 13. Going crazy. And I like to think I'm pretty good. But this guy I had met because of some show or something I was playing in, and he was there, and then he played, and I was like, whoa, shit, I don't like him.
I have work to do.
Yeah, but then I met him. He was a really sweet guy. I'm like, oh, that's the worst.
When you want to hate someone,
and
but you can't.
Nice. Yeah, right. But no, he's a great guy. And, you know, that's the kind of rival, like, we would have little spats, you know, like, it would be very tongue-in-cheek where I was like, well, you want to hang out and jam? Because I want to see him play and learn. And he's like, nah, I don't do that. I play by myself. I'm like, okay. And then he asked me to play in his band, but bass. I'm like, bass? What? He knew what he was doing. He knew.
That asshole.
I know. I'm going to bring that up. I'll be like, Brian, what the fuck? Little petty things like that. But I had something similar in college with like video. There was a guy that, it's actually funny because I don't know where he is now, but he's the one that helped me get into video, actually filming. Yeah, because I was showing off a project I was doing that I worked a lot on, like 40 hours or something crazy on this audio project. And, you know, it ended up turning out pretty good. But then it got overshadowed by like we were doing some competition or whatever. And the guy ended up overshadowing me, not because of his audio being really good, but just because of his short film. And I watched it, and I was like, I could do better. And then I did. I don't know. Well, my first thing that I did was like a Western, a sci-fi Western. I don't think you've ever seen that.
That's challenging.
Yeah, we had a stunt woman. We had like special effects. A guy disappeared. It was awesome.
Wow, I'm impressed.
You haven't seen it. It's nothing crazy.
Okay, that's fair.
But ambitious for sure.
Yeah, for your first project.
Yeah. Well, how about yours? What was your first project?
In what area?
I don't know. What's your favorite? Acting.
Oh, that's not fair. That's choosing children.
Is it? Is it now? Yeah.
Fuck. I mean, one of my favorite characters to play was in a short I did called Her Body. I love playing the villains. Give me crazy psycho bitches all day.
Really?
Yes. Oh my God. They'll do anything. There's no limits. And you can just play.
Oh, okay.
So that's probably my favorite character. But like my favorite film experience, it might still be Crazy Lake. That was a feature I did down in Florida. And I met some really wonderful people on that set.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was my roommate when we moved to Atlanta later. And it was a horror film. And so we went into this cabin in the woods. We all lived on the set that we were filming on. And so there was limited Wi-Fi, no cell service. So it was like going off to film camp. And all we did was like film for 2 weeks. And
2 weeks? Oh, as a feature. Mm-hmm. Damn.
Oh my God, it was so much fun.
How did it turn out?
Fantastic.
Yeah?
It's like a B-list horror movie that like makes fun of like the 80s kind of horror style, but also pays homage to it. It's like a trash movie, but it was meant to be a trash movie. So it's fun.
That's all that matters right there, man. Mm-hmm. Fun, passion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I loved it.
Yeah?
Oh my God, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
We filmed it in 2015, April 2015.
5 years.
Oh my God! Oh God! Why did you do that to me? Oh, it's 2020.
You can't escape it. Trump wasn't even president whenever that happened.
Oh God.
Yep.
Okay.
Let it sink in. Getting older. Does that bother you, getting older?
No, I don't give a shit.
Really?
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me neither. I think it's just like another thing. I'm like, oh yeah.
I know.
Another trip around the sun, I guess.
I don't care about people knowing my age. I care about people limiting my casting because of my actual age. So that's why I'm like, I'm not going to volunteer how old I am to most people.
Sure.
Just because of that. But otherwise, I'm like, oh, I'm turning 30. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Is that this year?
Yeah, this year.
Oh, nice. Woo! Congrats, me too.
Yes.
Yeah.
July.
It's June.
Oh,
shit. I'm older.
Yeah. Cancer.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that have validity?
Oh, I don't believe in it. I only know it because my ex was also.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. But.
Did it influence stuff? Like, now I know because he was a Cancer. Is that? That would explain some stuff.
I will say he did kind of match the stereotype as far as being like wicked emotional, which I know Cancers are supposed to be.
Okay, wicked emotional. Mm-hmm. Okay, how so? If
he was also an actor, so
actors.
Yeah, like he was very like God. I thought I was melodramatic.
Ooh,
like.
Can we get into it, or is it too close to the chest?
No, we've been broken up a while.
Okay, cool. Let's do it.
Yeah, no, he just very melodramatic and trouble. He cried all the fucking time, and it was very frustrating for me. I kind of err on the side of tough love sometimes.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I can be a little too aggressive in criticism sometimes, and it was just a terrible dynamic.
Wow.
And we were still together for 2 years. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah. Oh, I say the same thing. How long has it been? No, I'm with you, man. Mm-hmm. I'm with you too. Like the tough love. People get too offended. Mm-hmm. Oh, wah. Mm-hmm. Cry me a fucking river, man. Like, especially with people full circle too. Because like we mentioned about me knowing someone who just smokes and smokes and smokes and eats and eats. It was just like, and then complains. And then wishes things were better. You know what I mean?
I wonder why they're bad. Could it be the things that you're doing?
Weird.
What?
It can't be that.
No. Definitely no. I'm perfect.
I can't stand negative people. It, to me, a person being negative just on the air of it being a situation is one thing. But just a constant barrage of negativity. Blah, blah. Yes. The world is this. I'm owed this. Why is nothing working? Get out of here. Get out of here.
I will set them on fire.
Please. Please. Because to your point, tough love is important, man. You got to be hard on people if you're going to, in my mind, I thrive on it anyway. Like, I'm hard on myself. Like, I'd be like, you know, you really should get off your ass. And you know? Or,
I think there's a time and place for it, maybe.
Sure.
You've got to be in the mental state for it. My best friend, we've known each other 20 years now. And so she knows me well enough to be like, hey, how sensitive are you today? And that's where I know I just got to prepare myself.
There you
some
go.
wicked tough love is about to come.
Yeah.
And, but it helps that she asks that question of like, can you accept what I'm about to tell you right now? Okay. Because if I'm not in a place where I can hear her tough love, then I'm going to be like, fuck you. You don't know what you're talking about. You know?
Right.
So you've got to be able to be receptive to it as well.
No, I agree. I agree. Yeah, I've always thrived on that kind of stuff. I think it's because the movies I watched, that's like how the heroes always got better, you know, was through like, you fight. You know, it never, like they cried and things just got magically okay. I never really liked those movies.
Well, they're not as interesting to watch.
Yes.
We love the conflict.
I know, but I do love romantic like movies. Dude.
Like Hallmark movies?
Guilty. No, like I love Moulin Rouge. Moulin Rouge.
I love Moulin Rouge.
Right?
Yeah.
Or like The Notebook.
Yes, I did finally see that.
And then like movies that, you know, get to me the same way, but they're not meant to. Like Drive. You ever watch Drive? It was also Ryan Gosling.
I don't think I did.
People thought it was an action movie because of the way they cut the trailer. But you watch the film, and it's really just hey, buddy. It's really just a story about a dude wanting to get out of the life he's in for a girl. That's it. And it's like, oh, God, I love that.
I feel like that's most of Ryan Gosling's movies.
Yeah. Well, not the Place Beyond the Pines. Did you see that one? It was crazy. I watched it a couple of months back. And yeah, I hear you, buddy. I know you're hungry. I know. We got to bring you on the show now. There you go. This is Mr. Kitty.
He's not going to like jump on the table and destroy everything?
I mean, he wants to.
Oh, okay.
But I won't let him. Because, can you hear that? Yes. There we go. Thank you, buddy. That's going to be great. I'm going to use that for something, I'm sure. What were we talking about?
Gosling.
Yes. I mean, come on.
Gosling. Gosling.
No, he did really good in that movie, and he was only in it for about half. But it was more dramatic, to your point. But do you like those kind of, like American Beauty?
I didn't see it.
You didn't see that?
I told you, I'm that actor who doesn't watch things I'm working on.
No, you're fine. Dude, I just like, I get on tangents assuming people know what I'm talking about because I've watched way too many movies. Every year I'm on it. Last year I felt like I wasn't because I didn't watch Little Women. I really wanted to see Little Women.
That came out at the end of last year, though.
Yeah, like a month ago.
Yeah. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay that you haven't seen it and it's only been out for a month.
Are you sure?
Yes. I will forgive you. My forgiveness is all that matters.
Oh, thank God. Ooh. It's like lighter now. That's dope.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay, so what did you watch that you liked in this past year? If you could think about the ones that you really enjoyed.
It is possible that the only movie I watched this last year was Joker. That's possible.
That's possible?
I think I saw Endgame. That was within the last year.
Endgame, yeah. The two big movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair. What'd you think about Joker?
Joker I thought was good.
Yeah.
I'm always going to compare everyone to Heath Ledger because Dark Knight, Heath Ledger.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah. But I think Phoenix brought a different essence to it, which I did enjoy and appreciate.
Yeah.
So even though it wasn't the same Joker, I liked the movie as a whole. I thought it was good.
I'm with you. You know, I have a crazy conspiracy theory about that movie.
Ooh.
The new one.
Okay.
Because the way, like, there are moments where, you know, he's Joker. Where the cinematography and what's going on in the film from a subtext standpoint mimics exactly what's going on in Nolan's version of the Joker. So in my mind, I'm like, it's the same Gotham. It is. Except Phoenix's Joker is just another Joker that fell by the wayside. Time had forgotten, but helped cultivate the culture that made Heath Ledger's Joker come up. And that's why we know Heath Ledger's Joker is that's Joker. to me, that's how it works. Is like there's like a 30-year difference or time span where like I think that would be fair to be like, oh, okay, well this happened and then it died out and then there's Heath Ledger. And the way it's shot, it's like almost they're being a bit I don't know what the word is, but they're paying homage. They're paying homage to that one. That's how I felt anyway.
I would probably have to watch them back to back to agree or disagree. But I think it's an interesting theory.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm one of those like my memory is trash. So I can, unless it's one of my absolute all-time favorite movies, I can watch it multiple times. As long as there's like a year in between, I've forgotten everything. It's like watching a whole new movie.
I'm the same way, but not so quick. Like I can remember, when it comes to movies, I can remember almost every scene, you know.
Wow.
But I have to wait like 8 years before watching it again if I want it to make it feel like a new movie. You know, like I'll remember movies I watched in the mid 2000s and only now I'm like, oh, I've forgotten about that. You know, but it definitely depends. Because like I could talk about American Beauty. I was talking about that forever and I watched it like 10 years ago. And I know every scene, the way it starts, everything. It was written as a comedy. Did you know that?
No.
Comedy, and it won best film because it was just so dramatic. Like you watch the movie and you're like, this is a comedy? It's wild.
Well, I guess the director can take it a different way than the writer intended it, or was the director trying to make a comedy and just failed?
From what I understand is that they went into filming and writing and everything. They were in production, and it was a comedy. They filmed it like a comedy. They say. I think they're full of shit. Because you look at the edit and you're like, whoa, the way it's shot is so meaningful. Bullshit. It was a comedy.
They decided in post, fuck it.
That's exactly what they said. Is like, well, in post, they cut it as a comedy and it wasn't working. But then one of their editors was like, let me try a cut. And he only did a scene, you know, like the middle. There's like a realization or something that happens near the end. And that's the scene they did. And they were like, holy shit. Do the rest of the film like this. So they left a lot in the editing room floor from what I understand. And I mean, you were talking about it before where like everything is a collaborative effort. Yeah, that's crazy. I've never heard another story where, you know, you go in with an intention to make something and it just turns into something else on the editing floor. That's wild.
That's late in the game.
Yeah, right? I mean, usually you're just like, I just want to keep it together at this point. Yeah.
Let's have a finished project to show people, please.
Yeah. So whenever you write your scenes, do you have like, I imagine friends that come in and film it and edit it, or do you do some of that yourself?
I have dabbled in it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not. Like,
no?
People have tried to make me direct a couple times too, and that just doesn't. I'm definitely an actor's director when I'm directing.
Okay.
Because obviously that's my thing. But some of just the technical things that you should know as a director that have to do with other departments, I don't have that experience. And so I've dabbled in editing and filming and things like that, but I just am too ignorant of a lot of the things that someone in the profession should know. Gotcha. So I'm way more like, hey, you can do this. You're that person. That's what you want to do. Good. We're friends. Come.
I gotcha. So that's good though. Well, then you get to work with good people. Yeah.
I would much rather create a quality project that we're all proud of rather than be able to say, oh, I shot and directed this as well as wrote and starred in it.
All right, Stallone.
But at the end of the day, if I did that, it would be garbage. Like, I'm just going to tell you.
Oh, come on.
It would be garbage.
I doubt that.
You're full of shit.
I mean, I may be, and I am free to admit it. But at the same time, we are our own worst critics.
Yes.
You know.
But I also know where my skill lies and that it is not.
That's good to know. That's good to know. I'm the same way, but I'm afraid I'm getting into a whole mess of trouble because I've for the past year, I've wanted to do acting, you know, and really wanting to get into it. And after spending so much time behind the camera, I'm like, well, I've seen so much. I've learned quite a bit. I know the technical stuff. And same with writing. Like I'm trying right now for the past 3 years is put together a template, right? So like I'm such an asshole about it. I'll be honest. Like I'll write and I'll go in like 5 pages, 25 pages later. And then I'm like, oh, this is mess. And then I'll go back to my whiteboard and I have basically 3 formulas, one for the plot, one for the character development, and then one for the themes. Because I want them all to be really cohesive. You know, I think it's important. But then I'm like, this is a mess.
So, I mean, the first draft always is.
Yeah. And it's good to go out and just write to get stuff out there. But I don't know. Do you find it that difficult? Am I overthinking it?
No, it's absolutely difficult to create any work of art, especially because you never, for any extended project, write it all at the same time.
Right.
So the mental state that you're in when you write this scene is different than this scene, and they still have to flow together like the same project. So that's why you do always have multiple drafts, and you end up cutting things and adding things and whatnot, because in order for it to flow the way that you want your project to, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to be very critical, I think.
Okay, let's get cereal. All right, for like the 15th time. Do you write do you bring yourself into the work? Do you find yourself mimicking the same things you are either going through in your life at that moment? Because I do it all the time. Yeah.
If I'm writing, like writing for the other actors that I mentioned I have been doing lately, that's been tough because I'm not inspired by it. And so I have to find inspiration for their stories. Whereas if I just had a conversation with someone and they pissed me off, this happened the other day, then I went and wrote a scene, which I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but of, oh no, I was heartbroken. That's what it was. Oh God.
No.
Because now I'm thinking about the scene. Oh God, me being emotional and dramatic.
Okay.
And so in the scene, I wrote something that has been close to my chest for a while, where the character was broken up with, but is still in love with the person and is just tired of hurting and doesn't want to love them anymore because it's so painful. And so I just spilled that into a scene, and I was like, okay, I did something productive. And that's another good thing, actually, going full circle again, that's been great about dropping the alcohol. And whatever vice you may have is where normally if I was feeling that shitty, I might go have a drink to kind of like be a mood boost, because alcohol does that for me. I'm a very happy drunk. But instead of doing that this month, I went and wrote a scene that could turn into a story for who knows what later. So
I'd love to read that. That sounds awesome.
Oh God.
It's good. It's good because, like, even if I find that the stuff that I had written just from stream of consciousness is never nearly as good or good in depth as something that I write that's more personal. Yeah, because I found that like a couple of years back, I realized as I was writing a character, I was like, well, this guy kind of seemed controlling, or this girl is like, she's pretty controlling. Why is she trying to control?
And then you make sense of your life as you're doing it.
Yeah, it helps. It helps because I'm like, well, do I have a problem with not being able to control things? What bothers me so much about it? And then breaking it down, getting into the psychology. Like, I get way too much into that kind of stuff.
You should.
It's crazy. But putting it in your stories, dude, it's so good. It's so good. And then you get funny little quips too, because like I like to have little jokes. Yeah. And life cannot write itself, man. Some of this stuff just comes out, and you're like, what the heck? Where did that come from? You know, just by being with people, having friends and stuff like that. It's having
friends.
I know. Hanging out. What the hell's that about? Do you hang out with a lot of people? You're introverted or an ambivert?
I'm an ambivert, but mostly introverted.
So introverted means secluded, doing your own thing. So what's your ideal like night? Are you there watching? You're not watching TV. What do you read?
I used to watch TV and read and all these things, and now I just work constantly.
Well, what do you mean by work? Like just the promotional stuff?
Either promotional stuff to make money, or I try to prioritize going to the gym, or doing stuff for my reel and submitting for auditions. It's just always like I feel like I need to be productive. It's a double-edged sword. Yeah. And so I don't give myself a lot of time off. But my ideal situation when if I have to be with people, is like small groups.
Gotcha.
My best friends in Atlanta and we just had a board game night 2 nights ago.
That's awesome.
Or was that last night? I don't remember. But yeah.
They blur together.
They do.
Yeah. But that's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Something like really chill, down to earth.
Yeah. I mean, you can't beat those kind of things. Like, it's weird because I'm with you. You know, I'm always feeling like I should do something. Mm-hmm. And this year, that's one thing I wanted to stop was being so hard on myself. Because, like, after a while, I was like, well, you're doing a lot, but what really is it doing? Mm. You know, like with this, one of the reasons I'm doing it now is because, like, for the longest time, I was like, well, I want to do a feature, so I'll write it, try to get some money saved up for it, and it was just going to suffer. And I was like, well, I'll do something short. So I shortened a new story. 20 minutes. That's possible. Gave myself some rules, and it was, but I was never going to really be happy because there were some sacrifices I didn't want to make, and it was just all for the pursuit of getting it done now, you know, this year. And then I was like, well, I like making long form content. And I've tried this too, where it's like trying to get like on social, on YouTube and everything, trying to get just consistent content, garner an audience and make it so you're then financially independent to then work on whatever else you want. I've tried to do that 2 times. And the first was writing shorts, you know, and had a big production, 45 different people, 4 days, like hundreds of hours worth of stuff, 8 shorts, comedy skits. And it was great. But then whenever like I started posting them, no one would like really help push. And it was just kind of, people have their own lives. I'm not holding against them, but a little discouraging. You know, then I tried to do it on my own and I was like, I'm not really happy with it. I'm spending way too much time for something so small. I would try to really highly edit everything. But now I'm like, we'll just talk. We'll just talk. I'll put it in the topics and the whole thing, and then the topics will go out. That's the best thing, I think. Yeah, at least for me right now.
Yeah, it's no pressure. There doesn't have to be a whole lot of prep involved.
Right? I mean, how did you like it? Just coming in and just...
And that's the thing. I asked him for questions to prep. I was like, wait a second. What are you going to ask me?
Yeah, right.
Like, I need to be prepared. Because a lot of times, like, if someone asks me, I mean, okay, you asking, like, what my favorite role to do was. Fortunately, I've thought enough about that before that I wasn't totally caught off guard. But there are some questions, if you ask me, I'd be like...
Well, hopefully I didn't ask any of those.
No, not yet. You'll know.
Oh, okay,
You'll know
good.
if it happens.
Oh, good. Yeah. I just wanted to be chill. You know, I think you can't beat a good conversation. Yeah, something just happens organically and everything. But yeah, I think that's a good place to end it. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Now, where can the audience find you?
Oh, at D. Riley Talent on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I follow you mainly on Instagram. Love your photos.
Oh, thank you.
Love all of it. It feels like you're always pushing to do different. You know, that's one thing I really admire about you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely go for more of like a edgy alternative style, and then I try to incorporate the things that I'm passionate about into my branding, which ends up being politics and nerd shit. So I'm a character for sure.
I love that. And I know they're gonna love it too. It's one of the best episodes. Come on. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
And you told them where to find you. You'll be doing some more like short films and stuff.
Always. Oh my god.
Where would you post those?
I will post about it for sure on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
And therefore Twitter, because my Twitter's just attached to those things.
There you go.
But yeah, if you follow me on social media, you'll hear about it somewhere. Awesome.
Well, thank you so much again. We got to say goodbye to them. I've been doing it where we do like ASMR. We whisper. And we're like, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks. You guys are the best.
You guys are awesome.
I can't believe you watched all this.
I know. I mean, it's been like 2 hours.
Jesus Christ, has it really?
It has been glorious.
Bless you all.
See you next week.